Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This tutorial is part 2 of the Loved Up by Granny Stitch set. Now we are going to be making the little hat, which is the Granny Stitch, which I know is hard to see with this yarn. And then we're going to make these little booties. So I made 2 hats. I made this one when I was designing, and then this one we make in the tutorial, and then I added these little pom-poms at the top because I just wanted to... I had 2 hats and I didn't want the same hat, so I thought let's add 2 pom-poms on the top. And then I made 2 little bitty pom-poms to put on the shoes if you didn't want the flowers. So, and pom-pom makers I got from Amazon or somewhere, I have no idea, but this is super simple. The flower pattern is in part 1 if you missed that. So in the description box there's a link to part 3, which is the pillow and the blanket set, and then part 1 is the cardigan. Okay, so in the part 1 is where I show you how to make these flowers, so you can just go to the link, and then in part 1 you can just fast forward through there or scroll through there and find the flower pattern. Okay, so you are going to need 1 cake of any 4-weight yarn you want. You can use any 4-weight. The reason I chose to make this set in a latte cake, which I realize the halo on a latte cake, you are never going to see the stitches, right? Well, you kind of can, but the reason why I chose to make this set from a latte cake is because I am destashing my yarn, and I had 5 cakes of this color. And I thought, I want to make something, and I want to make it fast. I want to be able to whip through it, you know. And I thought, Granny Stitch. Everybody, if you have something that you need to get done quick, it's a Granny Stitch. And I thought, I don't want to do just a normal granny square. Everybody does a granny square. I want to do something different. So I designed this set from the Granny Stitch worked from the bottom up. So you're working up with the granny instead of in a square or a circle or what have you. So that's how I came up with the name Loved Up by Granny Stitch set. So yeah, that's why I'm using this yarn. So you can use any size 4-weight you want. Now, I made this set to fit my mannequin that's in the thumbnail picture, and there's pictures before the tutorial started. I made this set to fit my 0 to 3 month size mannequin. And that mannequin fits into Walmart clothes 0 to 3 months. So for this set, I used for the hat and the booties, I used a 4mm crochet hook, okay? You can go down a crochet hook to make it smaller. I would suggest to go to at least a 2.75 if you want to go to a newborn size. That's not going to be very easy with a 4-weight yarn. So if I were you, I would maybe find a different pattern if you wanted to go to a newborn size for the booties. For this hat, you work your 12 double crochet for round 1. Round 2, you increase all the way around. Round 3, you increase 1 double, increase 1 double all the way around. If you wanted to make this hat for a newborn, leave off row 4. It would be my suggestions, because row 4 we increase double into the next 2, increase double into the next 2, which makes the hat a tad bit larger. If you want to make it for a newborn size, just leave off round 3 and go to round 5, okay? So there, if you want to go bigger, go up a hook size, all right? So, what was I saying? So you can do the flowers for the embellishment, you can do the pom-poms for the embellishment, or you can not embellish at all. I just wanted to add a little something extra to it. But for the gray I used a Hirschner's Worsted 8 in the color medium gray. The latte cake was the color plum. And I used 1 cake. Well, you're not even going to use a whole cake, but you're obviously going to need a cake to make the hat and the little baby booties, okay? So, get your hook. And then, well, of course, you're going to need your scissors, your needle to weave in your ends. And I highly recommend using a stitch marker if you're going to use a Karen latte cake, I definitely suggest using a stitch marker because it's really easy to get lost in those stitches. So I'd grab you a stitch marker just to help you out, okay? All right, get your supplies together and let's get started. Okay, so to get started with our little booty, I am going to use a 4mm hook instead of a 5 because I want the booties to be just a tad bit tighter on their feet. So, you know, whenever they're going like this with their feet, they're not going to worm it off their foot. But so to get started, we are going to make sure you got enough tail to weave in, and I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook, and we are going to start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have said this earlier, but before we get started, I do want to say that this is a bit of a pain in the butt with this yarn, so use stitch markers wherever you can, okay? All right, so to start row 1, we're going to work 3 half double crochet into the second chain from hook. So you can see, not the one I'm pinching, but the one that's visible is the first, and then this is the second chain. So I'm going to work 3 half double right in there, and I am going to stop and mark that first one so I know where that first one's at. All right, so I'm going to do 2 more into that same chain. Okay, now we're going to single crochet into the next 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. So you should have 1 chain left. We are going to work 5 half double crochet into this last chain, and as we work them, we're going to rotate it around and then come back up this side of the chain, okay? So that last chain right there, I'm going to work 1, 2, I'm going to go over my tail, 3, 4, 5. All right, now I'm just going to get that tail out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet into the next 3 chains. So what I am going to do, well, not next 3 chains, the next 3 remaining loops of the beginning chain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it real close, and I can see this big hole right here is that last chain that I worked the 5 half double in. So I know the first one is the next hole and then the next 2 holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my finger to cover up that big hole with the half double, and then I can see 1, 2, 3. See it? So to work the single crochet, I'm just going to put my hook right where the big hole is and go into it. Not, I shouldn't say the big hole, but I mean the one that's not with the half doubles in it. So 1, and I can see the next one is right there. 2, and then the next one is right here. 3. Okay, and now we are going to work 2 half double crochets into that last chain. So the chain right here that's got the 3, see the little hole right there? Right here. I'm going to work 2 half doubles into that. All right, so we have this little shape, and now we're going to slip stitch to that first half double, the one we marked. I have a bad habit of putting the stitch marker in my mouth when I'm working. Okay, so that's the end of round 1. For round 2, we are going to chain 1 and into that same half double crochet that we just slip stitched into, we're going to work 2 half doubles. So I'm going to yarn out over, and I'm going to go right back into the top of that half double, and I'm going to stop and mark that. There's my first half double. So I'm going to half double again. Now we're going to half double into the next 2. 1 and 2. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to mark where I've done. See, I've already got this pattern written out, so I'm looking at it on my computer while I'm while I'm filming it. Okay, so we just did a single into the next 3. Now we're going to work 2 half double into the next. Right in there. 1, 2. Now we're going to half double crochet into the next. And now we're going to work 3 half double into that next half double right there. You can see the top of it looking right at you. 1, 2, 3. Let me mark where I am. All right, now we're going to half double into the next. And we're going to work 2 half double into the next. Ooh, missed that. All right. Now we're going to single into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Half double into the next. And then into the very last stitch, which this right here is not a stitch. That is our slip stitch. And then our chain 1 is right there, that little bitty loop. And then right there is our first half double. So it looks like there's 2 stitches left, but there's not. There's just this stitch, and then that's the chain, or I mean the slip stitch. So into the last half double, we're going to work 2 half doubles. 1 and 2. And now we're going to slip stitch to that first half double crochet. All right, so that's the end of round 2. Now we're going to go on to round 3. We are going to chain 1, and we're going to work 2 half double crochet back into that same half double that we slip stitched into. So 1, and I'm going to stop and mark that. Go back in there with another one. All right, so 2 half double into the first. Now we're going to half double crochet into the next 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we're going to work 2 half double into the next. Half double crochet into the next. And 3 half double into the next. All right, we're going to half double crochet into the next. Half double into the next stitch. So you worked the 3 half double into one, half double into the next stitch, and now into the next one we're going to work 2 half double. I didn't want to confuse you guys saying that twice. All right, so now we are going to half double crochet into the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 1 more to work into, and we are going to work 2 half double crochet into that very last one. All right, so that was the end of round 3. Well, gonna be the end of round 3. We are going to slip stitch to the first half double and chain 1. Now this round we are going to work a back loop single crochet into each of the stitches around. So the one we just slip stitched into, I'm going to go right into the back loop only, which is not a big deal if you don't get it. Nobody's going to see it. But I'm going to go ahead and mark it and then work 1 back loop single crochet into each, into each half double all the way around. Split that. I'm going to get this done off. I'm going to stay with you guys, but I'm going to finish it with my hands off camera. Just back loop single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Sometimes this yarn is a little hard to keep your tension running it through your fingers. All right, I'm coming back around. Well, I was. Okay, so I have one more. So don't get confused that this is your slip stitch right there. That little bitty heart, that's your chain 1, and there's your first back loop single. So this is not a stitch, okay? Well, I mean, it's a stitch, but that's not a single crochet or half double. So I have one more, and now I'm going to slip stitch to the first one. To end round 4. So round 5, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet right back into that same back loop that we slip stitched into. Just single crochet right into that. Mark it so we don't get lost. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we're going to half double crochet into the next 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, now we're just going to single crochet into the last 9. So if we did this right, knock on wood, we're going to have 9 single crochets left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yay, good deal. So now your little booty should be looking like this. So this is the heel part, and here's the toe part that we're going to start closing up. So it kind of looks like this. And then we're going to work a cuff that comes up higher. Don't look that I didn't weave in my ends. Actually, speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and just snip that center one and hide write it down in there. Nobody will know it's there, but you guys. Okay, so what did we just finish? What round was that? Oh, that was round 5. All right, so get comfy. Oh, I gotta drink a really hot coffee. All right, now we're gonna move on to round 6. So we are going to first slip stitch into the very first single crochet. All right, so for round 6, we're gonna chain 1, and we're gonna single crochet right back into that same single that we just slip stitched into. Single crochet right into there, and then stop and mark it so we don't get lost. And we're gonna single crochet into the next 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we are going to half double crochet decrease over the next 2 stitches. So 1 half double over 2 stitches. So how you work your half double crochet decrease is you yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull up a loop, and leave those 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, and pull up a loop. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. So that's your half double crochet decrease, okay? So we're going to half double crochet into the next. All right, we're going to half double crochet decrease over the next 2. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, leave those loops, yarn over, go into the next one, pull up a loop, pull through all 5 loops. Half double crochet into the next. One more time, we're going to half double crochet decrease over the next 2. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, leave those loops, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 5, and then half double into the next. Okay, so now we're going to work one more. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Right? Last 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, okay, sorry about that. Half double decrease one more time. So we're going to yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. Hey, did not do that right. Start that again. Yarn over, pull through all 5. All right, now we are going to single crochet into the last 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was getting worried I was going to be off. But here's our little booty so far. Isn't it such a cute little fluffy foot? I love it. All right, so that was round 6. We are going to go on to round 7. I need to look at my notes. Okay, so round 7. And remember, what that looks like a stitch, but that's not. That's a chain. Or I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. That is a slip stitch, our chain, and then here's our first single crochet. So we're going to remove that. We're going to slip stitch to our first single and chain 1. For round 7, we are going to back loop, single crochet right back into the same single that we just slip stitched into. And if you can't get in or see your back loop, it's not a big deal. Nobody is going to notice that. And mark it. All right, now we are going to back loop, single crochet into the next 7. 1, 2, that was my heater that just kicked on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to back loop, double crochet, decrease over the next 2. So what is that? So the back loop, obviously, you just work into the back loop, but this time instead of doing a half double crochet decrease, we're going to do a double crochet decrease. So we yarn over, back loop only into the next single. You got your 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, and we're going to go into the next stitch, back loop only. Get in there. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. So it's pretty similar to the half double crochet decrease. The only difference is we're making it a tad bit taller by yarning over and pulling through that first loop. All right, so we did the first one. We need to do one more. So we're going to yarn over, go in back loop only, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, back loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. All right, now we are going to back loop double crochet into the next. So just a normal double crochet. And now we're going to back loop double crochet decrease over the next 2. So work the same back loop double crochet decrease, and do it again over the next 2. And now we're going to back loop single crochet into the last 7. So if we did this right, we should have 7 single crochets right there. So back loop only, I just about did a normal one. Back loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's 7. So if you look, here's the last, there's the slip stitch, there's the chain 1, and there's the first stitch. So thank goodness I was right. Oop, not a whole loop, back loop only. All right, so that is the end of round 7. Now the easy part. You just did the hardest part of the whole little booty. Look at it. Isn't it so cute for a little fat baby foot? Aww. Okay, so for round 8, we are going to slip stitch to that first single, chain 1, and we're going to work a single crochet right back in there. Mark that first one so we don't get lost. And we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the stitches all the way around. So like I said, what you guys just finished was the hardest part of the booty. The little baby booty. I feel like I have to say it like that every time I say the baby booties. I have 2 stepsisters that are both younger than me. One is 9 years younger than me, and one is 5 years younger than me. Somewhere in there. I'm not 100% sure, but both of them have babies, and they both had little boys. One turned a year old. Okay, so I got to stop and look at this. We've got the last stitch, the slip stitch, right there's the chain, right there's my first stitch, so I've got 1 more to go into. That's the end of round 8. So round 9, we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet, chain 1, and do that again. Single crochet into the very first, and then single crochet into each stitch around. So my youngest stepsister, her son turned 1 in oh geez, I think January. And then my oldest stepsister had a baby in the very beginning of February this year. So she had a little boy. So they both have little boys. And of course, Aunt Lana does not have any boy baby sets because I gave them all away last December when Tennessee and Kentucky had that bad tornado. my husband and my dad took everything that I made down there to donate to all the people that, you know, were devastated from those tornadoes. So yeah, Ilona doesn't have anything to give them right now. Okay, so moving on. Let's see, that was round 9. So slip stitch to that first single crochet, chain 1. So round 10, we're going to work a double crochet into that very first single. And we're going to work double crochets all the way around. So this, basically what we're doing now is working that taller cuff part. This is what's going to help keep the booty on their foot, on the baby's feet whenever they're worming their feet around and wiggling around. I'm sure they'll still get it off, but this will be more of a fight for them. So just half double all the way around. Did I say half double? I meant we're double crocheting all the way around. I don't know if I said half double or not, but it felt like I said it. One there, and the last one is right there. All right, so that was round 10. So round 11, we're going to do the exact same thing, and round 12, we're going to do the exact same thing. Slip stitch to the first double, chain 1, double crochet right back into there, and then double crochet into each double all the way around. This is round 11. So I want, dang it, I can't talk with the stitch marker in my mouth. So I'm going to finish round 11, and then round 12, we're going to do the exact same thing, half double, or dang it, double crochet around, and then we are going to work one more round, which is just single crochet into each double. So we're just about done. While I have been designing these and making them, I was thinking, so I have a complicated life backstory. My mom and my dad separated. My twin sister and I lived with my dad's mom. Just a second here. All right, so there's the last double. So I'm going to slip stitch to that first double, chain 1, and I'm going to double crochet right back in there. I just about said half double again. All right, double crochet all the way around for round 12. But anyway, I was saying, so my sister and I, my mom wasn't around much. So my twin sister and I were raised by my dad's mom, my grandma, because my dad worked over the road for a coal mine company. So he would be gone throughout the week. So we lived with my grandma, who was in her late 70s, well, early mid 70s to somewhere in there. She, whenever we lived with her, and we lived with her for most of our young life, but we were probably 4, 5, and I have a horrible memory, and it shocks me that I can remember this, but my grandma always had one of those ceramic things that you set on your table that was shaped like this, and it had a stick of butter in it, and then you just cover it with the little lid. She always had one of those sitting on her dining room or her kitchen counter or kitchen table. Okay, so that was the last one. Right there's the slip stitch, chain 1. There's the first double, so I'm going to slip stitch to that first double crochet, chain 1, and single right back into there. So now we're just going to single crochet all the way around. But making these booties reminds me of a time when we were 4-ish, somewhere in there. My twin sister and I got that stick of butter off Grandma's table and smeared it all over the kitchen linoleum floor and proceeded to use it as an ice skating rink. I have yet to this day see a woman be madder than my grandma was that day. She was so mad we tore that entire stick of butter. We smeared all over the floor, and then so like, let's say this is the kitchen floor and we smeared it all over the kitchen floor, and then we'd come running and hit that and slide into the refrigerator. That's the stuff we did when we were kids. Oh no, I don't. Ah, dang it. Okay, that was my last double. There's a slip stitch. Tiny chain one, first single. Okay, so now I'm going to slip stitch to that first single crochet. Chain one and pull up a loop. And cut. And you are done with your baby booty. So now you just need to make the second one. But I'm going to weave this in and finish my story. But making these baby booties reminds me, or it makes me think of how cute it would be to see a toddler. Obviously, you know, this is for 0 to 3 months. But I mean, could you imagine a toddler that's well established with learning how to walk? You know, they're running through the house. Put these on them and then watch them run through the kitchen floor and slide all around. I just think that'd be the cutest thing to watch. And then they'd fall and giggle and get back up and try to run away. Oh, geez. I would have done that to my little girl, to my daughter whenever she was that age. I know it sounds so mean. I'm sorry, but that's the kind of stuff that I would do to her. But anyway, all right, guys. So make your other booty, and we are going to. I am going to glue on these little flowers I made. Remember at the end of part 1, I told you to make 2 little ones with the smallest hook as you can work with. And the bigger one, we worked with a chain of 8. So these tiny ones, you're never going to get all these stitches into that little chain of 8. So go up to a chain of 12, okay? All right, so I am actually going to glue these flowers on, and I'm going to use my good old trusty E6000 glue, which is an industrial strength adhesive. Good old E6000 industrial strength adhesive. So this is not going to come off. And you can use this for the other parts that you put your flowers on, but I just tied on the other one, which one of them you don't know what I'm talking about yet, but the other ones I tied on because I wanted them to be able to come off, you know, in the wash and everything, whereas these, they're probably not going to look very nice for very long because they're going to get rubbed off, or I mean rubbed around on. All right, so there you go. There is the little baby. Uh-oh, I'm about to drip my glue all over the place. Well, wouldn't you know it, right now would be the perfect time that I realize I'm out of Kleenexes. Okay, got it. Put the lid on. All right, so there are your little baby booties. One of them looks a tad bit bigger than the other one, but I can give it a good stretch and move around. There. All right. So get your baby booties done, and we are going to now work on the hat. So the hat is super easy. So I am going to get my little area cleaned up and find my chicken scratch where I've got the pattern written down. All right, I will be right back. Okay, so to get started with our hat, get a slip knot on your hook, and like always, make sure you have enough tail to weave in. And we're going to start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are going to slip stitch to that first chain to form a ring. Tighten down that first chain and chain 1. So into the ring for round 1, we're going to work 12 double crochet. And I'm going to mark the first just to help as much as I can. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, I'm going to slip stitch to that first double crochet right there. Slip stitch, pull my center tail. I'll weave that in a little bit, and I'm going to chain 1. So for round 2, we're going to work a double crochet increase into each double crochet around. So basically, we're working 2 double crochet into each double. So we're going from 12 double to 24. So I already chained 1, so I'm going to go right back into that same double and work 1 and 2. I'm going to mark that first one just to help me out the best, to help with anything. All right, now just work 2 double into each double all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and I'm going to work my increases all the way around, and I'll meet you when I get back to the beginning. Okay, so I worked that all the way around, and now I'm going to slip stitch to the first double crochet to end round 2. You should have 24. Slip stitch, chain 1, and for round 3 we're going to work an increase into that same double crochet that we just slip stitched into. Okay, so I'm going to go right back in there with 2 double crochets. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that first one, and now I'm going to double crochet into the next, and then we increase into the next. Double into the next, increase into the next, double into the next, and that's what we're going to repeat around. Okay, increase, double, all the way around, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so I've worked that around, and I just worked an increase, so the very last double crochet of round 3 is going to get a double. And then we slip stitch to that first double crochet. And for round 4, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go right back into that double crochet with an increase. So 2 double. I'm going to mark that first one. And now we're going to double crochet into the next 2. So 1 and 2. So the next one gets the increase, double into the next 2, increase, double into the next 2, and that's what you're going to repeat around. And this is the last round of increases that we're going to do, and the rest of the hat is going to be the granny stitch pattern. Okay, so go ahead and repeat your increase, double, double, increase, double, double, increase, double, double. Repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Alrighty, so I finished that all the way around. Now I'm going to slip stitch to my first double crochet, and chain 1. So now we are going to start the 3 double crochet granny shells. So what we're going to do is we're going to work 3 double crochet right back into that double that we just slip stitched into. Go right in there with 3 double. 1, 2, 3. Sorry about the squeaking. Chain 1, and we're going to skip 2 double. So if you need to, just pull it apart and you can see your 2 doubles into the next 3 double crochet. Oops. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, skip 2, 3 double crochet into the next. That was not a double. And that's what you guys are going to repeat around, okay? 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, skip 2, 3 double into the next. Chain 1, skip 2, 3 double into the next. So I'm going to let you guys work that, and I'm going to get mine done off camera, and I will be right back. All right, so I've worked that around, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochet left. So I did my granny shell, chain 1, skip 2 into the next, work my last granny shell, 2, 3, chain 1, skip the last 2, and slip stitch to my first. All right, so you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 granny shells around, okay? So I am actually going to stop, and I'm going to weave in this middle tail. But what we're going to do now is from 6 to 11, we're going to work the granny, I just split that, the granny shells. So I'm going to show you guys how to work round 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, you're just going to repeat row row 6. I was getting tangled up in my yarn. I didn't know what was happening. There. Snip that. Okay, so row 6. We are going to slip stitch to that next double, slip stitch to that next double, and slip stitch into the chain 1 space. Chain 1, granny shell, 3 double, into the same chain 1 space you slip stitch to, chain 1, jump to that next chain 1 space, and work 3 double. Chain 1, jump to that next chain 1 space, and work 3 double. So you're going to repeat that all the way around. Chain 1, jump to that next chain 1, 3 double. All right, so I'm going to work that all the way around, and I'll meet you at that last chain 1 space, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I worked that around. I have one more chain space right there. So I'm going to work 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch to that first double crochet. And that is round 6. So for round 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, you're going to repeat that same round 6. Slip stitch to the next double, slip stitch to the next double, slip stitch into that first chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochet right back into that same chain 1 space you just slip stitched into. chain 1, jump to that next chain 1 space, 3 double crochet. And that is what you're going to repeat for, so this is round 7. You're going to repeat it for 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. So I am going to stop my video here, get this done off camera, and when we come back, we're going to finish up the hat. We're getting so close to being done. All right. I will see you guys in the next part. What? I'm going to stop here and I'll be right back. Okay, so I repeated that. So I did round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got 11 rounds. And this is what the hat looks like so far. So what we're going to do is work one last round. And all we are going to do, after I've already slip stitched to that first double crochet, so I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to half double crochet right back into the double that we slip stitched into, and I'm going to work a double or a half double into each double and 1 half double into the chain 1 space, half double into each double and 1 half double into that chain 1 space. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way around, all right? So I'm going to get that done, and I'll meet you when I get to that last chain space, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I worked that all the way around, and I did the half double in the last chain 1. So now we are going to slip stitch to that first half double, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. And there is our little hat. Ta-da! Now, back you guys out a little bit. So you can add a little flower to the side, just like we did to the jacket. But I decided, since, you know, I have my first one from when I made the hat while I was designing it. And now that I've made this one, I thought, well, I don't want to put a flower on it just like the other one. So what I decided to do was make 2 pom-poms. And I'm going to put a pom-pom on each side of the top. I think that's going to be so cute. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to end part 2 here. And in part 3, we are going to make the blanket and the pillow, the matching pillow set. So, as always, you guys know, thank you so very much for watching. I love all of you guys. You guys are the greatest. I'd hug each and every one of you around the neck. Even if you didn't like it, I don't care. I'm going to hug you anyway. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this. Subscribe if you haven't, and then turn on your notifications so you never miss what's next that I put out. And also in the description box, there's links to my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, all that fun stuff, my email address, my Etsy shop. If you make this set, I would love to see it. So if you make it, tag me, or, you know, post it on my Facebook group, whichever. And that makes my day when you guys make anything that I did a tutorial on and show me, because I love it. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to get started on part 3. So, and links to part 1 and part 3 will be in the description box. So, all right, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.